So again, I'm here at the beach walking, and I want to talk to you guys about when is a good time for you to invest in real estate. So a lot of us, we hear about investment in real estate and it's a good thing. Real estate you can't go wrong with. I agree with that. But real estate takes capital. So someone who's coming out of school and just starting to do their savings, you can't just start investing in real estate. And I don't believe in doing REITs. I believe that you should invest. The first real estate investment that you should do is your first home. So it should be something that you either will live in the future, or you should be going to live in it right now. So that's the first thing. So you have to start savings with that. So how do you start saving in that? You have a plan. Okay, you say to yourself, I want to have this first starter home within 3 to 5 years. And you start saving for it. Now, if you're doing 3 to 5 years, I suggest you do an index fund that you're able to put your money through and automate that savings. So you want to be able to say, okay, I'm going to put $500 a month in this account, and I'm do it automatically. Have it come out of your account. I am always talking to my girl here about automating your savings, putting it away. She's always telling me, no, I got it saved, I got it aside. So I'm like, no, we need to put it away and forget about it. Because if you got it aside and you know it's an option for you, guess what? You're going to use it for something else. And you don't want to do that. Automate it, put it away, forget about it. So start aggressively saving if you want to build up that little bit of capital to make your first down payment on your real estate. One of the ways to do that is start by investing in the stock market. Investing in the stock market when it comes to ETFs or index funds. I don't believe too much in mutual funds because they have loads on them. What is a load? A load is usually the fees, the back end and front end fees when it comes to mutual funds. So I'm not a big mutual fund. If you're not sure about what to invest in the S&P 500 index fund or the QQQ. The QQQ is the index fund for the NASDAQ stock market, which is more techy and higher risk, but it's also one that you could invest in a little bit more. So my thing for a young person who's starting out their savings is start with having your emergency fund in a money market account, and then take the rest of that money and put it in index funds while you're saving to get to your first real estate option. As the time comes closer where you are looking at the market, looking at where you want to buy your first home, your first starter home, and trust me, that first starter is not going to be your dream home. It's going to be far from your dream home. But if you don't start there, you're never going to get to your dream home unless you are going to win the lotto and you decide on buying that and you don't go broke in 5 years. But you start first with building up that down payment. If you cannot build up that down payment, then you're never going to get to the starting point of investing in real estate. So I am a true believer in real estate. I am of Indian descent, which means that we have certain things in our culture that we invest in. Real estate is number one. We always say land, but real estate. Gold is number two. And if you look at the market and what gold is doing, you might want to start putting some money in gold. And three is education. Education doesn't necessarily mean a fancy Ivy League school that you're going to be spending $100,000 a year and you're going to owe $500,000 when you're done and you didn't even do a degree that's marketable. Education means we're living. Once you're living, you're learning. You need to always be educating yourself. You always need to be learning about what it is that you're doing. So if you want to invest in real estate, you need to know about it. Do you need to be an expert on it? No. But you need to be looking at the market once in a while. You need to understand the markets that you're in. You need to see where it's going. Okay, where can I get this? Where can I get that? So you need to have your feet in it, learning about it, So it's important to always have your feet in every bucket of water that you are looking at, and you don't have to be an expert in any of it. You hire the expert to help you with the rest of it, but you have to know enough that you are able to understand what the expert tells you, if it makes sense or not. And you're not going to be tricked or fooled, because in our society that we live in, there are too many people out there that, because our society and us in general are so financially illiterate, we get fooled by every little shiny thing that comes our way, and the world is marketing to us like that. So we are frivolously putting our money in places that it does not belong. And that is the major part of our society. That's the problem. It is not the government. It is not, because America, believe it or not, still has a middle class. Our middle class is dwindling because we are not managing our money properly. It is not that we are not making enough, because I see people that make $50,000 and I have clients that make $500,000. Yes, the people who are disciplined within this range, they do well, no matter if they make $50,000 or they make $500,000. The people who are not disciplined, they cannot be consistent, they do not do well. They literally have no pot to piss in. Does not mean, even if they're a professional making $500,000, if they're not disciplined and they're not managing their money intentionally, they do not do well. They end up with a pot not to piss in at 50. So you don't want to do that. You want to start with your savings of your down payment. And that has to start with minimal investment. Investing in things at the rate of money should always be growing at the rate of inflation or above. If your money is underneath your mattress or in a checking account, it is not growing at all. So it needs to be in a money market account, growing at the rate of inflation or above, in an index fund, even fixed index funds. I'm not very familiar with those, but I'm big with ETFs and I'm big with index funds. And that's usually where my very moderate investments is. Now, I believe in investing in individual stocks with all of my other money, but that's because I took the time during COVID to learn about the stock market, learn about the companies that I'm investing in, and understanding what the backing of it is, and not go with just the sentiments of a market. Do I win some sometimes and lose some sometimes? I do, but I'm very diligent about what I'm doing. So first start with your, I will call it your down payment fund for your starter home. And your starter home is probably the beginning of 5 houses down will be your real dream home. But if you don't start with the starter home, you're going to be priced out of the market by the time your dream home. If you wait to buy your dream home 10 years later, that is $500,000 today, it's going to be $2 million 10 years from now, and you're saving for a $500,000 house 10 years from now. But if you buy a $300,000 or $400,000 today, and then you invest in that, and you once you have your down payment, you start off living in that home, you move forward with it, you pay down your principal, which is your little savings account. The market for real estate, in my time of investing in real estate, has always gone up. Whether it's going up a little bit or a lot, it's always gone up. There is one time when the crash happened, with all of the nefarious things that were going on in 2005, 2006. But you cannot buy to flip. I had to hold. So I had to hold that house, my house that I was living in, for 3 to 5 years. But all those people that got their house foreclosed on, they were very irresponsible. They had interest-only loans. You never get an interest-only loan. That is too risky. Their interest-only loans fluctuate in the payment. When you have a mortgage and you start off with a 30-year mortgage, the only thing that will fluctuate is not your interest. If you get a 30-year fixed interest mortgage, the only thing that fluctuates is your escrow account, which is your taxes and insurance. Those are things you can shop on and look at, but the mortgage payment will always be the same for 30 years, except for the escrow, which is the taxes and insurance. Whereas if you're renting, your rent will consistently go up every single year, no matter what. And that landlord, when his insurance and his taxes and his repairs and everything goes up, guess what? You're paying that too. So the only thing you don't have if you're leasing, is the responsibility, but you also do not have the appreciation or the principal that he is saving when he takes your rent and put it on his mortgage.